Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today we are going to talk about multiple topics and we are first going to talk about Bartomeu. So I do want to talk about him very quickly, and according to Sport, it says here Bartomeu has called in for an extraordinary board meeting which will take place today or Monday. The 13 remaining board members were asked by Bartomeu whether they had doubts with regards to their continuity after results stated he knew 2 or 3 who have their doubts. All 13 said they had no doubts and gave their immediate backing to the club's president. And so this is the end result for Bartomeu. He is left with 13 people. And notice how on this report it says extraordinary board meeting. Many people had questions on what that meant. We have been hearing that extraordinary phrase throughout this whole season, and basically what this means is that they're going to have this meeting either today or tomorrow, and people have assumed that it was about Bartomeu potentially resigning or he could be voted out, but it has nothing to do with that. This meeting is going to be used for basically on who to bring in and who to replace the 6 people that left. They're probably going to talk about taking legal action to Razal for what he said earlier about 2 days ago. And Bartomeu basically wants to get his people together and confirm that they all want to work together, and maybe even talk about what they're going to do after the COVID-19 phase is over and how this pandemic affected their club and all that complicated stuff, right? So they're going to talk about multiple topics, but it has nothing to do with Bartomeu leaving the club. So now moving on to the next topic of the day, and we are going to talk about Felipe Coutinho. So according to BBC Sport, Tottenham have entered the race to sign Barcelona's Felipe Coutinho, with Bayern not wanting to make his loan deal permanent. And so the reason why this is picking a lot of headlines and why this is a big report is because recently we had the agent of Felipe Coutinho speak out to the public, and this is what he had to say. Coutinho's agent has confirmed to Sky Sports that his agent would love a return to the Premier League, but insists all possibilities are open. And so finally, after hearing so many reports and rumors coming from all these different channels, and I don't know where they be coming from, we finally get to hear someone from Coutinho's circle speak out about what Coutinho might potentially do in the summer of 2020. Because we have been living off of rumors, speculations, and reports, and it feels so refreshing to finally hear someone that knows Coutinho personally on what he's going to do. And so what we do know is that it has been confirmed that Bayern is not going to buy Felipe Coutinho. What is yet to be found out is what club is leading to buy Felipe Coutinho. We know what clubs might potentially be interested in Coutinho, but who is the leading club? And most importantly, the real question to us Barcelona fans is how much is Barcelona going to sell Coutinho for? And that's the sad thing, right? Is that Coutinho has dropped so much in terms of transfer value. We did buy Felipe Coutinho for around 135 to 140 million euros a year and a half ago, and now we might potentially sell him for around 70 to 75 million euros, meaning that Barcelona will lose around 60 million euros, which will probably be one of the worst investments we have ever done. And here's the worst thing about this, right, is that I believe that Barcelona do not care. Like, they rather lose 60 million euros than bring back Felipe Coutinho to the club. And that tells us a lot between the relationship between Barcelona and Felipe Coutinho. And that is where the question comes, right? And this is the question that I want to ask you guys. What team do you see from the EPL buying Felipe Coutinho? There's multiple reasons why Tottenham could buy him, multiple reasons why Leicester City could buy him, and there's reasons why Chelsea could buy him. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. But who do you see Felipe Coutinho pick out of all those EPL clubs? Now moving on to the next topic of the day, and I really want to talk about Ndombele. According to El Equipe, Barcelona have let their interest in Tottenham midfielder Ndombele known. Ndombele doesn't intend to have a second season at the English side. So I do want to spend a good amount of time on this player because there has been a lot of buzz around this player, and I really do want to address multiple things about this French player. So first, Ndombele is a 23-year-old center mid that plays for France, right? Last summer, he was bought by Tottenham from Lyon for 66 million euros, meaning that he switched from League One and moved on to the EPL, which also means that he had to adapt to the Premier League. And guess what has been happening over the course of this season for this player? He has not been adapting well to the Premier League at all. And there has been a lot of controversy surrounding this player. He has been put in a position where he has to play sort of a defensive midfielder for Tottenham, and he has been known for not marking, not tracking back. His legs have been giving up on him around the 60th minute because it seems like the EPL is just too much for this player. He cannot keep up. And the worst thing is that Ndombele is known for having Mourinho's criticism and less known for Ndombele's performance. About 2 months ago, the coach of this player is Mourinho, right? He did speak about what he thought about Ndombele after a match, and this is what he had to say. Somebody has to realize this is the Premier League. I hope next season he can be fantastic, because until now, it is not enough. My thinking was that in the first half, we didn't have a midfield, because I don't want another question about the same story. I'm not going to run away and have to say that Ndombele had enough time to come to a different level. I know that the Premier League is very difficult, and some players it takes time. Some players it takes a long time to adapt to a different league. But a player with this potential and responsibility has to give us more than he is giving. So that is some very big and aggressive criticism from Mourinho. And keep in mind, Ndombele has been put in a defensive midfield position in Tottenham, which is his first time playing that position. And there has been reports stating that Ndombele finds this position very boring. He does not like to do the defensive work. He would much rather go up and attack and create with the strikers. He has been very open about this, right? And what makes this even crazier is that we have to remember that this is the guy that Barcelona is scouting to be our player that has the legs, the one that has the muscles, the one that's going to do the dirty work. And Ndombele is reminding me of a midfield version of Dembele, and that's not a good thing, because he has talent, he has the potential, but it seems like he lacks the discipline, because the talent and the potential means absolutely nothing if you cannot focus on your work. And Barcelona does not want to repeat that same mistake. And clearly we can see that Barcelona is searching for their next Vidal, and if we're asking for Ndombele to do exactly what Vidal has been doing over the past 2 seasons with FC Barcelona, he will not be up for that challenge. I just don't see it. So there's going to be 2 routes that this player, Ndombele, could take in the summer. 1, move to Barcelona, destroy your career, and make the club believe that you are capable of taking this position, and then not hurt just yourself, but hurt FC Barcelona, the club. Or take the second route, right? Stay with Mourinho, stay at the Premier League, get better, continue to adapt to that league, because the only thing that you're going to do if you do leave the Premier League is that people are going to know you for not being able to be capable enough to take on the Premier League, and that's not a good thing. So you should stay there and show why you were worth that 55 million euros, and show why you are meant for the EPL, because the EPL is a very tough league. It's a very physical league, and it would be very sad to see that Ndombele leaves the EPL only because it was too physical. So that is the end conclusion. I do not want Ndombele to come to FC Barcelona. He needs to fix himself before he could come to a club like FC Barcelona. Now moving on to the next topic of the day, and we are going to talk about this whole saga going on between Nelson Semedo and Cancelo. So according to Sport, Barcelona and Manchester City negotiate a swap deal between Semedo and Cancelo for in the next transfer window. So these reports are continuing to come in. We have talked about this little swap deal that could potentially happen before, and Cancelo has been widely favored because of his ability going forward, and that is why he has been so popular in the eyes of all Barcelona fans, is because we are desperate for a right back who can give us goals, who can create, who can give us a lot of assists, and Cancelo is just that. But we have to be very careful, right? Because the agent of Cancelo and Nelson Semedo is Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes is one of the biggest agents in the world and has done one of the biggest deals in the history of football. So the question is, has there been negotiations between Barcelona and Manchester City to swap Cancelo and Nelson Semedo? The answer is no. Mundo Deportivo has been told that Barcelona has had no calls or made any calls to Manchester City, and Barcelona is prioritizing Semedo's renewal. The only reason why this rumor has life is because of Jorge Mendes. And in my opinion, I am extremely against this move because there is a couple of requirements that I have to replace Nelson Semedo, and the first one is going to be that he must be young and he must be able to serve 7 to 8 years at FC Barcelona, because it would not make sense to switch a 25-year-old for a 26-year-old. It doesn't make any sense. If we want to replace a player like Nelson Semedo, he must be able to serve us for the next 7 to 8 years, because if not, then I'd rather just keep Nelson Semedo. Another requirement that I want from that right back is he must be extremely talented, meaning that he has to be good going forward and also going back and to defend. Cancelo is not that player. He's very well going forward, but going back and defending, he is not very well known for that. And the only player I can think of who does well going forward and who does well going back and to defend is Emerson. And Emerson is also 21 years old, so he has his whole career ahead of him, and that would be the player where I wouldn't mind to switch Nelson Semedo. As a matter of fact, Emerson did speak today, and this is what he had to say. I am ready now to play for Barcelona. I was asked before if I was ready for the Brazilian national team too, and I gave the same answer according to AS. Playing for Barcelona is a dream, and I have had since I was a kid. I was always a Barcelona fan because of the Brazilians that played there before. And so that is very, very similar to what he said 3 to 4 weeks ago. He did say that he has reached his maximum potential at Real Betis and he can only improve if he goes to a different club. That is him foreshadowing that he wants to move to Barcelona. And now what he is saying recently here is basically him confirming that he is speaking to FC Barcelona, that he wants to go to that club, that he is ready. And at 21 years old, I believe that we should give him the chance. He is a player who believes he can serve this club for 6 to 7 years, and that makes me very excited. The potential for this player is through the roof, and if Barcelona and us fans are looking for that next Dani Alves, Emerson could give us that chance. Now moving on to the last topic of the day, and we are going to talk about a wild report, and that is Manchester City and Lautaro Martinez. So according to Daily Express, Manchester City have decided to pay the 111 million release clause of Lautaro Martinez. And so Manchester City is in a similar phase to where FC Barcelona is at, and that is that both clubs are looking for their number 9. Now, I know that Manchester City have a lot of attacking options. They have Gabriel Jesus, who is 23 years old, so he's very young. He could play for Man City for the next 7 to 8 years. They also have Sterling, who is 25 years old, but then they have the other attacking options, right? And these are the players that I want to talk about. They have Sané, who might potentially leave in the summer for Bayern Munich. We have heard reports and rumors that he was trying to leave Bayern last summer, and this summer I believe they're going to try that again. Then they have Agüero, who is going to turn 32 years old in 2 months. Then we have Mahrez, who is 29 years old. He's not as old as Agüero, but he is reaching his early 30s. And knowing Man City, knowing the type of project that they want to build, I am very close and I'm very well aware of the chairman of Manchester City, and I know the type of project that he wants to build. He wants young players. He does not want Man City to be a very old and aging team, and he will be looking for young potential prospects who can bring a lot of value to Manchester City. And so Manchester City will be looking for that player who can lead the front line for a good amount of years, and Lautaro Martinez fits in that category. And so look, this move, having either Martinez go to Manchester City or FC Barcelona, makes sense to both clubs. But Manchester City is in a better position financially to be able to afford Martinez this summer. But then we did have somebody speak out about Lautaro Martinez, and his name is Zarate. He did speak to Fox Sports, and he had to speak about the relationship between Lautaro Martinez and FC Barcelona. So this is what he had to say. There is a very big possibility that Lautaro Martinez will go to FC Barcelona. He is a great player, tremendous player. That kid has no ceiling. Then he spoke about what Zanetti said about 2 to 3 weeks ago, because Zanetti did say that Lautaro Martinez is going to stay at Inter Milan for years to come. And then this is what Zarate had to say. He said, they are the ones in charge. The ones who decide is the player. But well, with Leo being there, I think that he has a little more chance of wanting to play next to the greatest of all time. Inter may want as much as they want, but then the market is in charge as always. And these monsters from Europe, when they want a player, they go with everything. There, the shirts doesn't matter anymore. So those were some bold words from Zarate. Now, it hasn't been confirmed by Man City that they made a bid for Lautaro Martinez. But listen, if Man City does bid, they would not hesitate to pay that release clause easily and offer Lautaro Martinez a higher wage yearly. And when we are talking about who will be the club offering the higher wage between Barcelona and Manchester City, Man City will win that battle. They are in a better financial position to bring Martinez in. The only advantages Barcelona has is that Martinez can look at Barca and say, hey, I could play with Lionel Messi and I can also play Champions League football. If not, I could win the Champions League with FC Barcelona. Those are the only advantages Barcelona will have. So it will be up to Lautaro Martinez on what he wants to do this summer. Will he choose the Benjamins, the money, the higher wages, or will he choose the medals, the fame, and establish himself in history? It's going to be up to him. I don't know what he wants, but in my opinion, I'm going to be biased here because this is a Barcelona channel. I'm going to have to say that Martinez is going to choose Barcelona. He wants to win titles. He wants to win the UCL. He wants to be in a bigger position in the world of football, and I believe Martinez will choose this club. He will play in Spain. It could be either this summer or next summer, but Martinez will come to FC Barcelona. But I want to ask you guys a very interesting question. Would you guys like to see Lautaro Martinez go to Manchester City? Because as we all know, Martinez is a very physical player. It would not be a problem for him to adapt to the EPL. And in my opinion, I would say that yes, it's going to be very interesting to see Lautaro Martinez go to Man City. My preferred position for him is Barcelona, but yeah, that is my question. Would you guys like to see Martinez in a Manchester City jersey? So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. That's it for today's Barcelona Daily News. I know there was a lot to talk about in this video. There's so much going on in this club, and we are going to talk about it here in this channel. So if you guys are new here, thank you guys for watching. I am happy that you are here, and I will see you guys in my next video.